Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In today's video, I wanted to talk about one of the most interesting events that kind of happened in, my Sasquatch journey, and that is the discovery of some strange handprints that appeared on a car window on one of my first expeditions. Now, I think it was back in 2015. It was June of 2015 when me and my little team were out near Nordegg on our big expedition filming Wildman, My Search for Sasquatch. Now, as you can see in the footage here, during the first morning of that trip, we had discovered these bizarre handprints on the car window. And this is something that I always forget about this. I always forget that this happened and I always overlook it. I'm always focused on like footprints and, the more typical pieces of Sasquatch evidence. But this is something that I'll be going through footage on my computer and I'll look at these clips and I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot that this happened. This was really weird. Now, it's not weird to have handprints on a car window. If you have tinted windows, it's more than likely that either you or a friend or a family member or even a stranger has come up to your car and put their hands on your window to try and look inside. Now, what differentiates these handprints from anything like that is that they seem to be very oily, like unnaturally oily. There are some parts on the car door you could see like this black residue, kind of look like a blackish kind of oil, and you could see it on the car window. And when that dust kind of blew in the wind all over the car, it kind of brought out those fingerprints and made them visible. And you can see the dermal ridges very clearly. That means whatever it was is either a human or another type of primate. A lot of people say that this was a bear. It's probably a bear, but bears don't have fingerprints, and that's just a fact. The only thing that has fingerprints like that and dermal ridges is a primate. So it's either a human or something else. Now, it's really interesting. Over the last few years, I've seen a few other cases of this that other people have experienced. They've had the same thing happen, very strange handprints showing up on their vehicles. So is it a coincidence? I don't know. These people had this happen in areas where there's supposed to be Bigfoot activity. And, this happened to me in an area where there was supposed to be lots of Bigfoot activity. So it's probably more than just a coincidence. I honestly can't explain it. Like, if the handprints weren't oily, then I wouldn't really think anything of it. I would have thought it's probably just one of us. We were looking into the vehicle, or, somebody's family member was looking into it, or friend. But, that oil is very, very bizarre. So that's what makes me think it's probably something else. Another peculiar thing about these handprints is that they're quite small. Like, they were smaller than our hands. So if it was a friend or a family member that left these handprints, they were probably like a kid, or the size of a kid. Either, it was that, or it was a juvenile Sasquatch. Now, when we took everything into account on this expedition, I had the sense that whatever was around us, because we had other strange things happening, like we heard weird cracks and snaps in the woods. We found tracks in the moss that appeared to be, juvenile sized, like they looked like small Sasquatch tracks. I had the sense that there was like maybe a curious juvenile Sasquatch, or multiple of them, trying to mess with us. Because on that first night there, we heard this loud crack very close to the camp, like very close, in the darkness. And it got us all on the edge of our seat and, made the hair on our neck stand up. And it was the next morning when we were about to go take off in that direction where we heard that noise to see what was going on, that we discovered these handprints that coincidentally, were small and just in a weird, like a weird position on the window. Like, I don't know, just the way they're oriented just seems weird to me. almost like if you made a butterfly with your hands and then pressed them against the window. So I don't know what the deal was with that. But this is something I think people should look out for when they're out in these areas. Keep an eye on your vehicle and, see if anything shows up like this. Document it. I was thoughtful enough to take lots of high resolution photos of these handprints, like these, where you can clearly see the prints. The only thing I didn't do that I wish I did was maybe take a swab of the oil. I mean, obviously it's probably contaminated, whatever it was. If there's any sort of DNA or anything, it was smeared against the car and, probably more than likely contaminated, but it could have been, some actual evidence that I could have taken home besides the photographs. So I know, I don't know what you guys think of the Sasquatch Ontario guy and his YouTube channel, but he had also, I noticed afterwards, had cases of this, pictures and video clips of it. And there were some other researchers that have documented this as well in other areas. So, Sasquatch Ontario, he's all the way across Canada. He's pretty far away from me. But there have been other people in the States that also reported this. So it could be something that is, actually attributed to Sasquatch. There's got to be some way where you could actually lift these fingerprints, to take them back and to have them permanently. There's got to be a way to do it, They do it when they're finding criminals and murderers. So there's got to be a way to lift these prints off your car. I'm just not, smart enough to do that. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know if anyone else in the comments has had this happen or has, witnessed this firsthand. Let me know. Let me know what you think of this. If you think it's a Sasquatch or something else, let me know. And if you still think it's a bear, well, I don't know what to tell you. All I can say is bears don't have fingerprints. So, this was just one of those weird things that happened that I can't explain, that I don't really think about that often. It kind of gets lost amongst all the other interesting things that have occurred over the years. So, there has actually been Bigfoot hand casts that have been made from where a Sasquatch actually left an impression in the ground with its hand. I've seen some examples of that firsthand. I've seen some really cool casts. And, I've said this before, a long time ago in some older videos, that it seems to be a common feature amongst reports and amongst, some of the hand evidence that's been captured, that Sasquatch have really short fingers compared to people, proportionately. They have really big hands, but their fingers are abnormally short. And I've read that in many cases. So unfortunately, in these pictures, it's hard to determine the length of the fingers. You don't really know, but you can see the palms, you can see the fingertips. And if the fingers are bent, we don't really know how long they actually were. But that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Just something to think about, something to keep an eye out for. If you have this happen, do your best to document it, and that's about all you can do. If you want to support Mountain Beast Mysteries and help us in our journey to, keep this going, you can make a donation to our GoFundMe page down below in the description, or you can also do it through PayPal. There's a little icon on the main YouTube channel page on the banner. Every donation helps to keep this ball moving forward and brings us closer to the discovery of this creature, hopefully soon. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.